Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dane, your host. Hope you're doing great wherever you may find yourselves. Blessings to all, and welcome to another episode of Live Album Euphoria, a series I started because of my passion and love and drive that I have for live recordings, which all began really when I was third grade, 9 years old. Kiss Alive. Discovered that because of some friends who were talking about it. I said, what's that? And it's, been a wonderful ride ever since then. And a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times, most of the time, I would say, when I hear there's a new band I should be interested in because someone suggested or what have you, I will often listen to their live recording first to kind of recapture that joy there was, because when I heard Kiss Alive for the first time, that was the first Kiss recording I ever heard, and I jumped into the rest of the discography after that. So I kind of will do that from time to time. And a band I've discovered about 4 years ago, Cause a Sui, I started with their triple live album and then went from there, and I love this band and hope to talk about them down the road. But today's episode is about Swans and their live album Deliquescence. It is 2 hours and 36 minutes long. It's quite a journey, and what a wonderful journey it is. This came out after The Glowing Man, so it's a tour of the Glowing Man album, and it comes out before the fundraiser album, What Is This? This starts with The Knot, which is 45 minutes and 38 seconds, and almost 46 minutes long. As an epic, is the only place you can get this song is on this live album. You have a tangerine dreamlike opening. It's ethereal. It's very dreamy and hypnotic. Go figure, it's Swans. You have this angelic side of the band here. You have these jangly riffs coming in from the guitar, and it's kind of like a train building up speed or trying to build up speed. It's wonderful. It's kind of a motif in the band in this period. But the train is never reaching full throttle. There's this angelic versus this heaviness here. Again, it's part and parcel for what it means to be Swans in this stage of their discography. And this angelic heaviness is a to and fro, and the heaviness coming and going, like a battle between good and evil, perhaps. Descent into hell kind of thing going on. Close to the 8-minute mark, gets super intense. I mean, super, super intense. It's industrial music, noises, which are music. You have these muffled voices here. It's unclear, of course. 8.5 minutes in, the intensity fades, and then you just have the angelic heaviness there, if you will. Then the industrial atonal stuff is back. The intensity here is just indescribable. It's marvelous, though. At the 10-minute mark, you have this crazy build-up, this drone-like stuff, humming bees, that kind of thing. And then at the 11-minute, 15-second mark, you have that tangerine dream ethereal stuff coming back. And then there's a change at the 12-minute mark. Percussion, guitar, feedback, which is challenging the ethereal stuff. It's like a war between the two. And the ethereal stuff is the constant in the music so far. But it's drowned out, or nearly drowned out, rather, at times, by the guitar, the percussion, and the feedback. At the 15.5-minute mark, through the 17-minute mark, you have this train getting its momentum piece. 33 seconds in, you have this ghost-like trance with this train-like force in the music. It's just amazing. And the guitars are marvelous here. At the 18-minute, almost the 19-minute mark, you have this quiet yet and soft parts again coming in with some soft guitar notes. 19 and 20 seconds in or thereabouts, Jira comes in with these incoherent, beautifully poetic expressions, but not for long. 22 minutes in, the guitar motif with the light feedback is here. Again, the train-like, but it's different train-like stuff. You have some howling sounds from Jira. Light industrial sounds like a whirlwind, gust of wind from a storm kind of thing. There's like a cry in there, or a howl, a light howl. Then it fades, and you hear that fading, if you will, kind of a dreamlike thing, like a candle going out or a flame going out, I guess. Then Jira speaks at the 25-minute mark. There's nice soft cymbals and other percussion low in the mix, angelic forces fighting with demonic forces of industry, so to speak. You have like the sound of like this diseased vacuum, which is great though. It's wonderful. Jira's angst at this part of the song is palpable. Is he in distress? Is he in pain? Or is it kind of joy? It's unclear, but it's the ambiguity lends to the beauty of the song. You have some nice long stressing of syllables at the 30-minute mark. It's engrossing. It's just wonderful, and you're in awe. Then you get a more quieter sounds around the 32-minute mark. You have a guitar, you have the soundscape, reverberations come in. The reverberation is just amazing. And then Jira sings some more on top of this. At the 35-minute mark, you have the drill sounds come in, almost like a gull-like cry here. It's beautiful. It's brief, but it's so brilliant. I love it. Yeah. And then you have that sound come in again at the 36-minute mark, but it's not gull or bird-like sounds. It's something else hard to describe. Jira, I keep flipping between this. Jira's vocals in and out as expected, part of the mood. It's great. Piano low in the mix around the 37-minute mark. Underneath in the lower register of the mix, you have the guitars, drills and whirls, and the music created screams, if you will. It's disturbingly beautiful. This continues about just a little bit past the 39-minute mark. Then the soundscape, mostly quiet, and then changes to some haunting, severe haunting type moods here. Tone, funeral doom-like, very cinematic. And then things sound like they're coming to a head, or they do come to a head. You have this denouement, if you will. 43-minute mark, it's quieter with low guitar, note repeated, that motif. Jira moans some more echoing words, long stretched out syllables as he's wont to do. It's glorious. That ay-ya-ya kind of stuff, that ay-ya-ya at the 44-minute mark. It sounds like he's saying, I will, and that's stretched. Come, and that's stretched. It's great. There's a low applause, and then the song is over. This is a wonderful song. One of my favorite songs of all time. And too bad it's the only place you can get it here. And this is difficult to find. This live album is because it was essentially another fundraiser album. Only 3,000 copies were ever made, and I was able to luckily get it in MP3 format through a friend of mine who one day handed it to me here. And I'm like, what is this? He's like, I'm not going to tell you. Put it in. You'll love it. It's a band you love. Lo and behold, he texts me later. Did you put it in yet? I'm like, no. Put it in, dude, now. So I'll put it in. I'm like, this is Swans, isn't it? He's like, yep. It's that album you've been looking for, Deliquescence, because he had bought it when it came out. So anyway, next you get the song Screenshot, which is just under 8 minutes from the To Be Kind album. Live version here. This is the definitive version for me. I love this live version as much as I love the studio version. It's a groove-infused song moving towards a climax or peak kind of thing that they do, but it doesn't achieve that right kind of song. It's foreboding yet soothing at the same time. There's a slow build-up as instruments are gradually added to the mix. Nice gradual approach. It's wonderful. It's beautifully done. Just a marvel of a song. Short and sweet compared to much longer songs that the band does. Under 8 minutes is short for Swans in this period of their discography. Next, you get the marvelous Cloud of Forgetting from the Glowing Man album. Just 1 second over 16 minutes long. This, again, is the definitive version for me. This is one of the most mesmerizing conceptual live moments in their discography. Wonderful piece. I'm in awe every time I hear this song. This is one of the hardest pieces in their discography to describe, so I'm going to be short here. It's just it's a heavenly masterstroke from Jira and company. All right, next is the sort of title track, Deliquescing. 10 minutes and 9 seconds. Right off the bat, dreamy and hypnotic. It's wonderful. Sounds like a soundtrack to an imaginary movie, perhaps a thriller, perhaps a horror movie, even a western, a spaghetti western would fit. Jira comes in at the 2-minute 50-second mark, moaning, wonderfully stressed, syllabic, let me try that again. Wonderfully stressed syllabic sonics here, if you will, for lack of a better phrase. Once the vocals begin, Doesn't feel that way anymore with respect to that soundtrack-like feel, but it's great. It's still great. And this is the whole song, this dreamy stuff with Jira in vocals, but it doesn't feel like the soundtrack stuff anymore because you have vocals. And it's not until the 8 minute 14 second mark there's a shift in the music direction here. Then you have this lush, haunting soundscape that comes in with the undertone of electric organ or electric piano. Then a tonal chaos comes in at 8 minutes and 56 seconds, climactic party, if you will. An unraveling of order, if you will, more denouement from the band. And then the climax is achieved, and then there's applause. Then you get Cloud of Unknowing, 29 minutes and 23 seconds, which is from the Glowing Man album. This is a wonderful live version. Off the bat, you get this ba-dant, ba-dant, ba-dant repeated, and then the atonal, for lack of a better description, Adrian Blue-like bent chords or Tony Levin-type bent chords, Elephant-like, think the Discipline album. Jira is, again, that shaman-like personality here in his incoherent ramblings, that ah-ya-ya stuff. Is he in pain? Is he experiencing ecstasy? Who knows? The ambiguity is marvelous. There's some kick-ass percussion at the 8 minute mark and guitar wailings, industrial tones, drills from guitar with piano or organ underneath. I'm not sure which of the two. Either way, it's great. At 10 minutes and 16 seconds, you get this riveting section of guitar in and out with some wonderful feedback and percussion going on at the same time, almost approaching the 12 minute mark. You have this dreamlike state of electric piano or organ and vocals. Almost at the 15 minute mark, you have this train-like guitar chugs coming in with kick-ass drums and then some organ. This is my favorite part here of the song. Some gut-wrenching, emotional, almost a pleading from the band. It's just wonderful. It's just so emotional. And then at the almost 17 minute mark, you have some guitar noodling, electric piano and percussion. It's great. Dreamscapey. Then a light pounding of drums. Almost at the 20 minute mark, you have almost a jazz piece or motif here, or moment rather, or quasi-jazz section, jazz fusion. It's brilliantly done. It's quiet percussion. It's great. Then at the almost 21 and a half minutes, Jira returns. Some wonderful shouts from him. It's all dreamy. It's all jazzy. It's all jazz fusion-y, King Crimson-like, sort of, with Jira's hypnotic caterwauling. And then you hear him shout out, "Sucker!" It's great. It's just, what is the context? What is the context of that, right? It's great, though. I love the piano here. And then you hear him say, the word washing at times. So you hear him at some point say, your skin. And then after that, I don't know what he's saying, but you hear washing and your skin. So there's that body consciousness that I talked about that is a big part of this band from the get-go. I mean, think about it. Their first album's called Filth, right? So, and that's pretty much the whole song there. Then you have another track that isn't on any of the other albums, and that is The Man Who Refused to Be Unhappy, almost 10 minutes long. You have this upbeat guitar intro that's repetitive, that repetitive style that only Swans do, right? It's great. What's interesting, though, is that you almost expect this to be a typical accessible rock song, but it's Swan, so it's not, because before we get that, you have the drums that come in, that's real cool, with bass that is super cool. You have this nice rhythm, beat, groove going on here because of that mixed with the upbeat guitar intro. But at the 3 minute and 4 second mark, all the hallmarks of a traditional rock song die because Jira comes in and ruins it, but in a good way. It's supposed to ruin it, right? And up until he comes in, the hallmarks, it's almost as if the upbeat guitar and the groove is about to lay down the foundation of a bridge that's going to segue into a chorus. It almost has like this, because of the upbeat tempo, a party song, but it's negated by, thank goodness, by Jira's voice coming in. At the almost 8.5 minute mark, you have this sorry, let me go back. So when Jira comes in, you have this guitar coming in and out, speaking. And and it's as if the guitar is speaking or having a conversation with Jira, or Jira's having a conversation or a dialogue, the two of them together, the guitar and Jira. It's really great. And then the guitar takes over on top of the beat briefly, and then Jira's voice returns. And then you have at the 8.5 minute mark or nearly that, this chainsaw-like and whir-like sounds with chaotic organ notes and layered down in the mix they are. And then Jira comes in and utters a few incoherent poetic musings over this. It's great. And then the song's over. It's just wonderful. Then the final track, The Glowing Man, 36 minutes and 21 seconds. The original studio is almost 29 minutes. This is almost 7.5 minutes longer. Opening 5 minutes is just a wonderful journey, great introduction. Then it picks up after this, a heavy meandering, exquisite touches here. Jira comes in about the 6.5 minute mark, so it's very no vocals, and it's just a joy to hear that. And then when Jira comes in, it's a different joy that comes because of the change. It's a different joy that comes in with that. At the 10-minute, 10-second mark, there's this lush moment before all hell breaks loose and it returns to, or begins this chaotic part, the drums, guitar, and percussion. And then there's this brief part that almost sounds like something from the Cult's Love album, this very esoteric, beautiful, and then it's gone. It's very fleeting, unfortunately. And then the chaos ensues again, and then the guitar comes in almost, I'm not sure, but I think it's a dobro guitar. Then the piano comes in near the 14-minute mark, which is a nice touch. It's beautiful. It's simple notes, but it's great, competing with the soundscape here. 14.5 minutes in, upbeat type Meatloaf, Jim Steinman-like piano bit, guitar too. It's great. I was surprised by this when I first heard it. And then this is mostly replaced by this hypnotic guitar moaning and whirling and up-tempo rhythm section. It's great. You have this chugging up-tempo piano, low in the mix, and you have this real nice groove going on here. The guitar here is so sweet. And then you have this calm that comes back in around the 18-minute mark, and then Jira has this super nice flow to his vocals here, a really nice flow. It's fun amidst the atonal industrial whirls going on because the quiet is gone. So again, did I say it was quiet? I said the vocals are back at the 18-minute mark, and Jira has this nice flow to his voice amidst the industrial whirls. And then at the 21-minute mark, you have piano and bass and percussion. Here, it's just so awesome. And you hear him sing, "I am a glowing man, I am," a bit. And then much of what follows is a lot of the same, yet it's compelling, very repetitive. There's just this flow and groove going on, this flow and groove. At almost a 29-minute, you have this change. You have this rise to the climax attempt that I've talked about before in different videos. That is part of what the band does. And you have this bomb, 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 over and over. Soundtrack-like, it's great. It feels like it belongs in a movie. And then at the 30-minute mark, it gets quieter with feedback. Jira bemoans some more here, more dobro guitar. And then you have this last couple minutes, essentially the soundscape with organ very low in the mix, almost John Lord-like from Deep Purple or Vanilla Fudge. Exquisite meandering going on here. What a lovely song in its scope and its tonal angelicism, for lack of a better phrase. Anyway, I love this live album. At some point, I hope to do a ranking the Swans live albums of their discography, all of them, including the fundraiser albums. So anyway, there you have it. This is a wonderful album. This is a must-own if you can get it at least in MP3 format, because you can't get it as a physical copy anymore. Long gone has been the day when you can, as I said, when you could have gotten this only 3,000 copies. As I said, this is a remarkable live album. Whether you're talking about the fresh songs on here that are new at the time, The Knots, and The Man Who Refused to Be Unhappy, and then the other new song here is, if I mentioned it or not, Deliquescence, which is essentially the title track. And this is why you get this for those 3 songs, and because of the wonderful live versions of songs we've heard before. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Take care. God bless. Bye now.